Yes, you are welcome to this morning on ITV, your station of choice and certainly the best. We are on the platform of nationalism and you, and we will be examining a topic in the light of the Education and Finance Summit that is about to start in United Kingdom. The President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, will be attending that summit, to be co-hosted by the President of Kenya and the President and the Prime Minister of United Kingdom. Taking a look at Nigeria educational system in the light of this, we are having in the house today an educational expert, a former commissioner for information and strategy in Adamawa State, and an instructor, a teacher, Ahmad Sajo. You are welcome to our station.
Thank you
once again.
Thank you very much.
And now, in our culture, on this platform, I say to you, nationalism and you, Ahmad Sajo.
It is my duty and responsibility to help develop my nation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Education is one of the most important elements in nation building and development. And now we are having a global partnership, financing global partnership for education summit about to commence in United Kingdom. Drawing down to Nigeria educational system and with your experiences, have our educational system be aligning to our national developmental necessities and needs? Agree for us.
Thank you very much. You see, let me start on a very interesting and hopeful note. I understand the president had made a statement categorical that in the next 2 years the expenditure on education would be increased by about 50% of what it is presently. And I think that is a cheering news coming from the president himself. But let's be very honest with ourselves. Education is not only a very important factor in national development, but is the most important factor in national development. You know, we are in an era of knowledge-driven systems. And so you can't make any progress without basing it on knowledge. But the education system is hydra-headed. There's a lot to it. First, there is the institutional, where you talk about, policies and curriculum development and institutional governance. It's one aspect of the education system that we need to look at. The second aspect is the infrastructure required to propel education development. Do you have the schools, the libraries, the laboratories, the educational instructional materials? Do you have those things that can aid the impacting of knowledge? Now, the third level, which is another very key component of the education sector, which is the human factor, the human person. What exactly do we need in that area? I think we need a lot more mind shift from what we have today, from the system we operate today to a new system. So looking at it from these three perspectives, I have a very firm belief that when you look at these three perspectives, the institutional, the infrastructure, and the human person, put all of it together. In Nigeria, we have a new challenge. You cannot, our education is not single, it's not holistic. It's divided into two. There is the public education system, which is supposed to be provided by government as an obligation to every citizen. And government at all levels are supposed to provide public education for every citizen. There is the private sector driven education, which we, the ruling elite, imposed on ourselves after destroying the public education system. So when you are analyzing the education system vis-a-vis our national development, you have to look at it from all of these perspectives. At the policy level, institutional level, at the policy level, at the curriculum level, are we aligning our curricula, are we aligning our education policy with our development needs? Or are we still, churning out graduates whose pride is a piece of paper?
That is exactly what we want you to tell us. Are we truly aligning? That is what we want to...
Exactly. At the policy level, at the curriculum level, we are not aligning our education system with our development needs. And so we're still in the era of emphasizing the production of graduates who carry pieces of paper called certificate, who in most cases cannot even defend the quality of those certificates, not to talk of the quality of the knowledge that they have imbibed, who have not been, groomed to utilize the knowledge for purposes of development, either for self or for country, for nation. So at the policy level, at the institutional level, we need a change. A change to look at our current development strides. Very soon, I tell you very soon, certificates at even university level will be of no value. If you notice, the big IT companies, Google, Facebook, Twitter, they don't emphasize on your university degree certificate. They look at your skill first. So people, education is migrating from mere acquisition of certificates to capacities, to acquisition of capacities to deliver in whatever you do. So we need to begin to rejig our policy, our curricula, to start looking at, our current situation. For example, our universities, should stop producing job seekers. Our universities should begin to produce job creators. When you go to the university, you need to come out as a young man or young woman who understands that there are opportunities out there which can only be unlocked if I have knowledge. So the knowledge you are acquiring now in any institution should be a key. That's one. At the infrastructure level, I tell you, we are nowhere near educational standards. I've had opportunities when I was very active in the university to have attended several international discussions on, university ranking. There is this QS university ranking in particular that I got very interested in, and we still communicate with the headquarters. The ranking criteria is very clear. How do you rank universities? Why is it that Nigeria is not among the top 1,000? There is no Nigerian universities among the top 1,000 universities in the world. How come that when you rank universities in Africa, you hardly get more than 5 Nigerian universities in it, and you can even count them. Covenant, Ibadan, Ilorin, Lagos, Ahmadu Bello, and which other one? But they're usually the ones that are normally at University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. They're the usual ones that you find in African university ranking. Why are we not there? Because we don't have the infrastructure backbone to support our educational system. We do not have the diversity. For you to rank a university or an institution, for example, it has to have a diverse faculty from different places, and then you have to have the diverse. So we don't have that. Then on the mindset, please just let me,
yes.
On the mindset, till date, our teaching staff still do not have the mindset to allow students, to have the freedom to explore the vastness of the terrain of education. Students are still tailored. What I give you is what you give me back. If you don't give me back what I've given you, you failed. And, the knowledge.
How do you mean? How do you mean? What I give you is what you give me back.
The teacher goes to the class and teaches the student a particular topic. He tailors his teaching to a particular content. Probably what
are you talking about? University alone, or you talking about all institutions?
In all institutions.
Okay.
We give them what we have, and we expect them to give it back to us during examinations. No creativity is encouraged. No wide. In fact, a student that questions some of the submissions of their lecturers are likely going to fail their exams, even when the explosion of knowledge has provided them more knowledge and information than the one the teacher has, is capable of getting. And that mindset has to change. And then the relationship, the teacher-student relationship, in countries where the education system is intervening critically in the development process, the teacher is just a guide. He's a mentor, but he's not an overload. He defers, to the students so that the students can get. I tell my colleagues who are our senior colleagues who are the lecturers in the university that a student needs to come out of the university with knowledge, skill, and confidence. That is knowledge, competence, and confidence. If you don't have these three, you will not succeed out there. But you can't have confidence if you are oppressed in class by a teacher who believes that he is superior to you.
Ahmed Sajo, I will take you back to some certain things that you have talked about, and I have them on me. Now, taking a look at the international summit that is going on in UK, it is envisaged that international summit will help to engineer transformation of educational system in some 90 countries. And some people says that when the world, in quote, want to control surreptitiously the underdeveloping countries, they impose their educational culture, their own educational practices, and all that goes with it on those countries and things of that nature. Do you have such fear?
It's absolutely not true. It's absolutely not true. Let me tell you, let me give you a very simple example. They say you can take a horse to the river, you can't force it to drink. If they give you, if they imbibe colonial mentality in your head while teaching you, and they leave, are they the ones forcing you to continue to behave with that colonial mentality? Let's tell ourselves the truth. The world is truly now a global village. We need each other. We need advancement in certain places. Now, the purpose, the essence of education, the essence of higher education anywhere in the world is teaching, research, and community service. That's the essence, that's the mandate of every higher education institution anywhere in the world. Now, teaching requires developing human capital sufficiently enough to impart knowledge. Research requires resources with which to make inquiries that can lead to advancement. And then community service means linking up the advancement you make in knowledge with the requirements of society so that you can have a holistic, development based on the knowledge that you have acquired. These three have been there in the education system of the world from time immemorial. Even when we did not have Western education, even when you sit down under the tree during the tales by moonlight of our great-grandfathers, what they teach you are just these three. One, you should know your environment. Two, you must inquire on how to improve. That's why our people started digging wells and then getting water instead of going to the stream and things like that. And then three, you must impact on society. That does not in any way deviate from what they were teaching before and what they're teaching today. The only difference is that the teaching of today is codified using words and letters and words and sentences in a language that you think is not your own. But it does not impose on you the fact that you should neglect your community. It still says the same.
Taking a right from this, your commentary, taking a right from this, we have experienced a situation whereby our government employers, people who want to appoint people, appointment into government positions and things of that nature, they prefer universities that are abroad. Harvard, Oxford, name them, and that kind of a thing. At those universities, in their curriculum, not essentially tailored towards the developmental necessity of these countries that own them, and does that not underscore the necessity for us to nationalize our own kind of curriculum? You talked about curriculum. That's why I brought that back to you.
You're taking us back as a people.
Yes.
Humanity is one. Humanity is one. So the teaching process, the knowledge, the knowledge acquisition and knowledge utilization process is one for all of humanity. The difference is that while others, prioritize the aspect of societal development to the extent of making their education functional to their needs and the needs of humanity, we still make our education centered on certificate acquisition. That's the difference. So when you see a person who comes from a clime where the education is functional and that he has been groomed to address problems of society based on the knowledge he has acquired, you will give him priority over your own person that has just a mere certificate that he cannot apply to societal needs. That's just it.
The University of Ibadan, the University of Nsukka, of Nigeria, Nsukka, Ahmadu Bello University, these were some of our prime university. Has it always been like this, that there is a deviation from grooming a system builder?
Let me ask you a question.
You don't have to ask me a question. I want you to answer me.
Can you tell me one patented product from a research that was conducted in Ahmadu Bello University, the University of Ibadan, or University of Nigeria?
That is why I am asking you that. That is why I am asking you that. Has it always been like this?
I say it has always. We have always accepted that the certificate is the main thing, because our system is configured in such a manner as to say, if you graduate with a first degree, you will be employed on level 8. So we were preparing people who will be employed in the service on level 8. Now we are realizing that there is no level 8 available for people.
Ahmad Sajo, as an educational instructor, how would you advise correction of this system?
No, return to mandate. Return to mandate. Simple. Return to mandate. The mandate is teaching, research, community service. Return to mandate. Let the universities teach, let them conduct research, and let the teaching and the research be tailored to serving the community. serving humanity. Once you do that, so every knowledge you are impacting, every teaching you are doing, every research you are making is towards improving the quality of life in the community, humanity.
Let us move firstly into another dimension of this. Let's move firstly into another dimension of this. The disparity between the public education and the private education. I have seen both from the, what do you call it, the elementary educational system, the secondary educational system, particularly the private one. They are so happy to throw up the flags, foreign flags in their, to probably attract parents to bring children to that. Are we not in any case creating a situation that is not harmonizing our human capital development the way it ought to be tailored?
Agreed. But you see, education, when you are educated, I used to tell my students in the university during orientation, I was always involved in the orientation of new students, and I used to tell them, when you are an illiterate, you are a native of your community. When you are educated, you are a world citizen. The universality, that's where the university got its name.
Yes,
universal. Yes. The universality is at the center of education. That an educated person is supposed to think universally, and from whatever level one begins to get educated, one should be able to understand that we are not isolated in the world, that the world is far bigger than our own, isolated communities. So you have to start thinking as an educated person of humanity in the world that has people. If we lost that humanity, that's why today people kill each other anyhow without any qualms, because we have lost our humanity. Please, our education system should be able to produce people with diverse capacities, diverse thinking, diverse abilities, so that we will know that we are part of a world, a global humanity, that we all contribute to what happens to this global community.
There used to be inspectorate division in Federal Ministry of Education and probably State Ministry of Education. Are those things still existing?
They are still existing, but unfortunately, at all levels, they are no longer effective. They are no longer effective, and I want to tell you where you even know that they are not effective. In our private schools, part of the requirements of a school, of an educational institution, is a playground. Somebody converts his 3-bedroom flat, where he doesn't even have a parking lot for his car, to an educational institution. An inspector supposedly go there and inspect and give approval, and he's allowed to start a school. No playground, in fact, no even sufficient air in that place. The inspectorates are there, but they are not functioning, and it's both ways. Some of these inspectors, turn a blind eye to some of these things that are happening. One, maybe because they're induced. Two, maybe because their reports are never taken serious by anybody. And three, sometimes when they recommend drastic actions, the people who are responsible for those for the wrongs in those institutions are well connected, and the inspector will discover that he has put himself in more trouble than he anticipated, and so he becomes fearful of taking the right action. I do remember that when we had in fact before inspectors, what we had were VTs. I don't know if you've heard of VT.
I only know the inspectors.
No, there used to be a VT, visiting teacher. His job is to visit school and sit at the back of the class and listen to the teacher, how the teacher teaches. We used to have systems where
I was aware that when I was in school, the inspectors are coming and the teachers, all of them are on their toes, running helter-skelter.
The visiting teachers were even more serious, because they come to the class before the original teacher and sit at the back with the students. So the teacher may even enter the class not knowing that a visiting teacher is in his class, And it was working. And at the university level or the polytechnic level, what they used to have in the past were, offices, advancement offices that are responsible for, and quality assurance offices that were responsible for ensuring quality, instructions or teaching, quality research, and then they ensure diversity. I emphasize on this diversity because diversity is key. Our universities, our polytechnics, our schools are not diverse. You discover that in an institution, 98% of them are all from the same locality, either the same country or the same locality. The students are also from the same locality. There is no diversity. And if there is no diversity, people grow up educated but not exposed. And you need the two.
And that was some of its necessity that made the government to establish what we call unity schools in those days and those kind of a thing.
Exactly. And these diversities, create an understanding of our nature as human beings. If I had not met you and you have not met me, you would have probably had your own perception of a person from my own locality, and I will have my own perception of a person from a local. This diversity helps to make us better human beings. And when you are and education is supposed to make you a better human being. If it doesn't make you a better human being, it's of no value.
Sergio, listening to you, we will not end this discussion, but I must say this. If there is any time in our national life that we need VT, the new name that you made me to come to realize, and the inspectorate, the functional inspectorate division, wouldn't it be this period?
Definitely. We need visiting teachers. We need to return to teachers' colleges where they teach curriculum on pedagogy from beginning. We need to return to lesson notes in educational.
You are already on it. Your final word to advise our people to get our education to be tailored towards our developmental necessity.
Simple. Our education should be tailored toward the development of humanity. We're human beings. God has made us superior animals. We must use that superiority to advance ourselves. Education is not for its own sake, but it is for the development of society.
Thank you very much. It's always a delight to have you on this show, Nationalism and You. And we hope when we beckon on you again, you will give us the delight of having you here.
Thank you very much.
We are still on This Morning on ITV, your station of choice. And we are on the platform of Nationalism and You. Don't change the channel. We are going to be moving into the second discourse. And this time it has to do with presidentialism, parliamentarianism, and the questions of federating unit.